Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Now with Great Millstone, Borderland Saints. Welcome to another video. And as always, before I get started, I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Quadash. Also double honors to the head apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all sincere brethren. Keep believing, keep teaching, and keep preaching, whether they hear or whether they forbear. Today I'll be taking my lesson from Daniel, the 3rd chapter. And we'll go into this lesson to give an example of the mindset that the holy men of the Lord must have in order to endure in these last days. All right, so we're going to go into Daniel, the 3rd chapter. We'll start there and we'll read until the Lord says so. Prayerfully, this lesson will be of edification to the children of Israel, to the house of David, 144,000 of the hopefully elect of the tabernacle of David, and to the 1/3 of the Israelites who are scattered abroad, who will hear and will forbear. Some will hear and some will forbear. But we'll speak to all the Israelites. 1/3 will hear, 2/3 will forbear. But we're going to go ahead on and speak the word as the Lord has given us commandment to do, being obedient to his holy commandments, laws, judgments, and ordinances. And now I am in El Paso, Texas, of the El Paso, Texas branch. So those of you who are wondering who I am, I'm Brother Now. All right, with the Borderland Saints of El Paso, Texas. All right, and we're going to get started here. It says in Daniel, the 3rd chapter, in the 1st verse, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. So this is in the province of Babylon, back in the time when Daniel, the prophet Daniel, was living. And the Lord was with Daniel and Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, you see. So these were men of the Lord during that time. And it goes on to say in the Daniel, the 3rd chapter and 2nd verse, it says, Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, and the treasurer, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. So Nebuchadnezzar had made an image made of gold, you see, and he was demanding that everybody worship that image of gold, you see. But there were men who were holy men who let the king know, no, we're not going to bow down and worship any image. We only worship the God of Israel. So that's what this story is about. And then it goes on and say, in the 3rd verse, then the princes, the governors, and captains, and judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriff, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And that's what we see happening today. 2025, they set up the image of the power of the dollar bill and telling everybody to bow down to the almighty dollar bill. Same thing as the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. But the children of Israel, the three of them, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, were not in agreement with that. All right. And then it says in the 4th verse, then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And that's what we see happening today. Here in the United States of America, President Trump has set up the dollar bill and telling all the corporations, the judges, everyone to bow down. You see, to what? To the dollar bill. Same thing, breaking all the laws, breaking the Constitution, you see, and even having the judges to break their vows to do what he wants them to do. See, because he's building himself up, his image, that this dollar bill is going to rule the world. And if you're not with it, then basically he's going to throw you up under the bus. But we're not bound down to this image of this devil. And then it goes on to say in the 6th verse, still in Daniel the 3rd chapter 6th verse, whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. So we're dealing with that. You see, we're being mistreated. You see, economically by this devil. You see, so what they do is give the rich tax breaks. Same thing, but giving the rich tax breaks while they increase the taxes on the poor in the middle class. See, that's to make you bow down and worship. And then it says, therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and the dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. You see, and that's what they're doing today, making it hard for the poor and the middle class and those that would not bow down to the dollar bill and do their wickedness, you see, to push their image. But what do the men of the Lord do? We stand on the highways and byways, you see, and rebuke these devils, because that's what the Lord told us to do, in opposition to their God. And then it says, there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. These men, see, so he brought up these three men. They not bound down, O king. You told them to worship, but they are not doing that. O king, they have not regarded thee. They serve not their God, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And so that's what we're doing. When we go on the streets and highways and byways, we speak against this devil they got in office up there in the White House, who's breaking all the laws and breaking even the Constitution, putting people out of the country. All those he deemed that would not serve him, the Israelites, you see. And he's not looking to see which ones are serving him and which ones are not. He's just putting them out of the country. despite the fact that some of them have birthrights in the country. It's putting them out and putting them in prisons overseas. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my God, now worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? You see, so he said, I'm gonna punish you if you don't serve my gods, that I set up my golden image. Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he should deliver us out of thine hand, O king. And we have that same mindset where we're not worshiping this devil, but we're going and doing the will of the Lord, bringing out the gospel, knowing that they're going behind us to block what we're saying and what we're doing. They're putting out decrees to even block it on YouTube, you see, and making it harsh, you know, telling us we have to download our IDs and so forth if we want to make videos, you see. And then it goes on to say, and if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God, now worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And so we're telling you, FBI, CIA, whoever you are that's watching our videos, we're not going to serve your God. That's the reason why we're making this video, so you'll know that. Listen to what we're telling you. All right. And then it says, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their garments, and they were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandments was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego. So as they were taking the men to throw them into the fiery furnace, they had made it so hot that it slew the men who opened it to throw them in there. See, because that's how that wicked this devil is. All right. It's going to make it hard for the children of Israel, but we're letting you know, USA, military, FBI, CIA, whoever you got out there, we're not going to serve your God, the almighty dollar. We're going to serve our God, the God of Israel. Yahweh Shai, Rakah Quadash. We will not bow down to the USA in your evil and your wicked ways. And then it says in the 23rd verse, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast these 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O Lord, true, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Yahweh Shai. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. So Nebuchadnezzar saw that they was in there, but they were not consumed by the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. You see, because the Lord had went into the furnace with them, the angels of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the son of Shadrach, the God of Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego, who have sent his angels and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language would speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So the Lord delivered Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego for being honorable, holy, righteous men who would not fall for idolatry no matter what other people were doing. And they were not careful to give the answer to the king that we will not serve your God, but we will serve the God of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. And so we give this same decree to this beast nation, the USA and NATO, that we will not serve your God. All right, now we're going to stop our lesson there. Hopefully this lesson will be a good lesson to the house of David, and we've spoken it to these devils here in this beast nation, the Roman Empire, as well. If you're listening to our videos, you got the message. And we're going to stop there, and we're going to give all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Shalom and a Bible ball.